Welcome to another episode of the Battle Science Podcast, a Pokemon Go PvP podcast where we talk about Pokemon Go as it relates to PvP, both in GBL and SA. It's not a good acronym for Self Arena. For GBL and Self Arena. I am one of your hosts, Steven, a.k.a. aBoyInTheWoods, joined as always by Jesse, a.k.a. RocketAdminJ.
30 Snorlaxes, 2 XLs.
Numbers. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? They're bad. They're real bad. Welcome to another Tuesday and or Wednesday and or Friday and or whatever day of the week you're listening to this podcast. I just listed Tuesdays if you're listening on Twitter or on Twitter, on Twitch, twitch.tv/battlescience. Wednesdays if you are listening on as a Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/battlescience. Ooh, that is what I was forgetting. Friday, if you are listening from the podcast release on all platforms, or any other day if you're listening after the initial day of release. So, cover my bases here. Jesse, how are you doing on this wonderful April 6th afternoon, evening?
I'm on vacation from work this week. I am getting a bunch of big boy things done, spending a lot more money than I'm comfortable with, and potentially putting myself in financial debt. Yay!
Oh, you're getting a mattress, dude.
It's not just a mattress.
It's a box spring, too.
Shut
up. Hey, man, treat yourself. Alrighty, we've got Patreon producers to shout out for the month of April. Let me look through this. April 30th. We have un, deux, trois. Cool. We have 3 Patreon producers for the month of April. This is no April Fools. We have Winston the Champ. Do you want me to just say Jamar? Would you just say Jamar? X3DX Jamar. Was it 159? Is that right? Am I getting that wrong? Am I getting that right? I think I'm getting that right.
He was right there on chat.
I know, but so he's got the clan name, the 3D clan name in his Discord name.
He says, yeah.
Okay. So the X3D of Clan 3D, or is it X3DX? Is that what's the clan name? I'll introduce it properly next time. I swear to God. JMR159. And the final Patreon producer for April is Dolphin93. I will double check in with Dolphin to make sure I'm a couple days behind. That Dolphin is, if Dolphin is in the Discord, that he will get he or she. Actually, let me correct myself. He, she, they. I will double check with Dolphin to make sure that they have the right Patreon or patron bonus for the Discord if they are in the Discord, and make sure I am reading the name right in the future. So, because we've got some shows coming up in April. I apologize for potentially butchering it. Jamar doesn't even know what the clan name is. You've got some pretty impressive people in that clan, so if there were actually clans in Pokemon Go, or clan
Last
support,
time I
I should
remember
say.
clans was either World of Warcraft or Halo.
There's clans in Destiny, which is cool, but you got to get either you find a big clan or you find other people that consistently play to actually have benefits from the clan. It might be interesting to have some sort of clan sub-team thing in Pokemon Go, but I don't know if they would actually ever do that. I remember initially, before Pokemon Go was released, I was in college and I was just hanging out outside one of my classes, and they had announced the teams. They had announced that they were going to do teams in Pokemon Go, but they hadn't announced they were going to be preset teams. So I was outsider looking in, hearing a couple of classmates basically saying, "Oh yeah, let's team up together," or whatever. And I'm just yeah, no one ever bothers talking to me, so I'll just hang out here and do
Oh,
whatever. Yeah, I mean, basically that was it. So as disappointing as it is, it's, you know, drugs. Mystic, Valor, and Instinct are the clans. Yes, I see the /S for sarcasm. Yeah. Teams didn't even have the birds. The teams
yeah.
didn't even have the birds?
No, everyone theorized that's what they would represent them.
Huh.
And well, I remember one of the big thoughts or rumors / speculations was, depending on the team you chose, that's the only legendary you would get.
Oh, yeah, I do remember hearing those rumors. Somewhat inaccurate, I would say.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah, in a game about like collecting and stuff, you know, so it seems like a weird way to go. Is that my email for my? No, it's not my email about my COVID vaccine appointment, please. We've got a show for people today.
Oh boy.
We've got some April events. We've got April events. We've got a move update. A little teeny weeny little move update. A little move update. We've got some more Prism Cup or Prismatic Cup. I'm going to keep butchering it. Prismatic, Prism, colors.
Kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope. Prismatic Cup talks. The Switch timer adjustment that came and went in between podcast episodes, which, you know, doesn't surprise me. It happens.
It's natural for us.
And then the community question and signing off for the episode. So let's get into April's events. It is April 6th. You're a couple days behind, but again, bi-weekly show. It happens. To no one's surprise, we're looking here at PokemonGo Live.com/post/APR-2021-events/?HL=EN. That's going to be, I think, hyperlink equals English, probably. To no one's surprise, this month, Giovanni has Shadow Zapdos as his Shadow Legendary. So if you go through the very brief, or you probably already have gone through at this point, the very brief steps to get a Giovanni, what is it, Super Rocket Radar? Is that what they call it in game? The Super Rocket Radar, and have battled Giovanni, you get a Shadow Zapdos. I believe, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Just, you know, a quick guess that May is probably going to be Entei.
You mean Moltres?
No, I think it's going to be Entei. If it's Articuno and then Zapdos, the most common pick is Lugia. It's going to be Lugia. It's you know, don't even worry about it. Maybe even Mewtwo. You might even get Mewtwo. No, it's gonna be Moltres. It wouldn't make sense.
Oh, I get it. April Fools.
That wasn't it. I was just pulling. What's the? It's not pull my finger. It's
my leg.
Pulling legs. Yeah. Oh, SpongeBob. Yes. Oh, let's see. The one thing to not actually
research breakthrough.
Huh?
April research breakthrough. Go get yourself a Squidward.
The what is it called? Remind me what the name is.
Frillish?
Frillish, yes. Water Ghost. The male Frillish, which was before in as a PvP reward only, is now available for the April research breakthrough. I believe female Frillish is spawning in the wild for everyone, I think.
Yep.
So I've seen a handful of those. I've seen other people see a handful of those as well. So those are out there. I don't believe, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no stats difference or move set difference between the two of them.
Nope.
So it's just an aesthetic. It makes me wonder why they're splitting it between the two of them, but, you know.
Well, we got more to talk about interesting stuff on the rarity of some species.
Oh, yeah.
Later.
We've got a super secret topic that we'll
bonus
cover.
Nugget of information.
Yes, a little nugget we'll put in somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe at the end of the news. Oh, shoot. You know what I didn't do?
What's that?
We're in the news roundup.
Giddy up now. This is the news roundup.
The sweet dulcet tones of Krista Dude's reading of our bumper. We are within the news roundup. I do apologize. I forgot to hit the button. We hopped right in. The one thing I want to go back to the previous topic of the Shadow Zapdos from Giovanni. If you can go out and about, the one benefit of having the Super Rocket radar is the decoy grunts, I believe, still have Shadow Bellsprout. So if you want to find 1/3 of the Grass Hole team in Shadow Victory Bell, you can still you can use the Super Rocket radar and search out the decoy grunts to get Shadow Bellsprout.
And you can farm those because it doesn't use your radar.
Exactly. So that's what I'm keeping mine until I have the Super Rocket radar. I'm gonna wait until later on this month to
and just farm out the Bellsprouts.
Oh yeah. So fingers crossed, because I still don't have a fantastic one. So that's the one.
And the nice thing about that is literally all the stats are random.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one benefit with the shadows. So if you're looking for that Shadow Razor Leafer.
Yeah.
Breakthrough encounters, feature Pokemon in 5-star raids and mega raids. Therian for me, Tornadus. I put a H that doesn't belong. There's no H there. Tornadus. I do
if
like.
You're talking like Mike Tyson. It's Tornadus. What's the other one? Thunderous.
Well, Thunderous doesn't change a whole lot unless you put like an H after the D.
What about the ground one? That's the Thunderous.
Christ. Oh, we should make fun of Mike Tyson. He could.
I play Pokemon Go too, guys. It's not funny.
He could put us in a shallow grave pretty quickly. He's been retired from. No, wait, isn't he? Is he coming back to fighting? I don't know. One way or another, whether he's active in MMA or boxing, whatever he's into, he could still probably kick our cheeks in. So, Therian form Landorus will make its Pokemon Go debut in 5-star raids on Tuesday, April 13th, and will depart Tuesday, April 27th.
Quick note here.
Mm-hmm.
That and the next one here. These are probably the two that I will be raiding the most. Again, if you'd like to join us for raids, our Discord lobby hosts raids, and you can also invite others from the lobby to join us. Feel free to join the Discord. There's my plugin. Go for it.
I skipped one. Therian for me Tornadus will make its Pokemon Go debut from Tuesday, March 30th to Tuesday, April 13th. Therian form Landorus will make its debut from the 13th to the 27th. And then incarnate form Tornadus, incarnate form for me. Sorry, I'm not adding the accent. Incarnate form so all incarnate formies will be formize. What is it when it's plural? Will be appearing in 5-star raids starting from April 27th through.
They don't give an end date yet.
They don't say. That's helpful. A week, probably.
Yeah.
Mega Houndoom, Mega Manectric, and Mega Abomasnow will appear in Mega Raids until Sunday, April 4th. On April 4th, midday.
Easter.
Oh, this has already happened. Duh.
Yep.
So currently, a surprise Mega Evolved Pokemon will be appearing in Mega Raids. It will continue to appear in Mega Raids for the rest of the month. Stay tuned for more details. Mega Gengar and Mega Manectric will appear in Mega Raids alongside its Mega. I want to say Bunnelby, but that's not right. Lopunny.
So, fun fact about the Mega Lopunny. Trainer Tips mentioned this in this video recently. It's not one a lot of people are interested in. And for good reason. It's not the best at being a Pokemon competitively. But one interesting fact he did point out in his video that I do want to share is, for myself or other community leaders, this is a good Pokemon to at least have on your team the Mega Energy for, because until we get Mega Lucario, we won't have a Pokemon that boosts fighting type moves in raids for Mega Energy. And if you're doing something that requires a fighting type Pokemon, like let's say Dialga comes back or something, Mega Lopunny would boost all of those fighting type moves.
Okay.
In raids, which makes it easier to do them and faster.
It's going to provide a bonus for a while.
Yeah. Until we get Mega Lucario, which then becomes a little bit more relevant. But if you want, I'm not saying you have to go and do Mega Lopunnies, but for your community, if there are people that want to collect it or they're looking for the shiny, it's a good excuse to get extra energy on it. And obviously, in the future, it'll probably be put into the research rewards as far as XL or for Mega Energy Candy. But, get a few while you can while it's here. If you're one of those people that likes to help the group out. I know particularly when we do raid nights, big shout out to Fish Geek and a few others in our lobby that will spend the Mega Energy and bring in things like Mega Abomasnow we had for the genies. JR Honda joined us for a couple of raids during the which one was it? I forget which raid it was, but he brought Mega Houndoom, which was very helpful.
Oh, okay.
So big shout out to those that are bringing the Mega Evolved Pokemon to raids to help boost us.
Let's see. Every Wednesday in April will feature a raid hour event from 6 to 7 PMs. Raid hours will feature Pokemon appearing in 5-star raids that week. As a reminder, you'll gain extra XP for completing 5-star raids throughout the season of Legends. Stay tuned for the May events blog for more details on excellent Pokemon that will be featured in raids after April concludes. We'll probably see that towards the very end of April, if not the very
I'd say
beginning
the
of
third
May.
week.
Let's see. April Community Day featuring Snivy. We talked about that in the previous episode. Do not forget
And your
Snivy.
thoughts on that?
Yes. Let's see. What else do we got here? Upcoming new events. Stay tuned for details about these upcoming events. We've already done the Team Go Rocket timed research. Or that's already live. No, that's already completed. That was... No, hold on. April 1st to Thursday, April 8th.
So
Wait,
we're
really?
currently in the spring to spring.
Right, but the Team Go Rocket timed research was only for a week. I would have thought
Correct.
it would last the entire month. The Super Rocket radar doesn't go away, and the research itself isn't super difficult, but I would have imagined it would have stayed for the entire month rather than going away. It seems bizarre. It's a bizarre choice. Spring into Spring, Sunday, April 4th to Thursday, April 8th. Look forward to spring theme events. Look out for Chansey, Blissey, Happiny wearing flower crowns, as well as other spring and egg themed surprises. It is the Easter event. Rivals Week from Tuesday, April 13th to Sunday, April 18th. Pokemon that are rivals will be featured, including some Pokemon making their Pokemon Go debut. We will be talking about that here shortly. Sustainability Week from Tuesday, April 20th to Sunday, April 25th. You can look forward to a sustainability-themed event. Pokemon like Grimer, Trubbish, and more will be appearing more often in the wild, and it's up to all of us to catch them. And Saturday, April 24th, celebrate friendship with a brand new event. April will end with a Snappy event that will continue into May, so keep a lookout for more details later in April. What is the launch day of Pokemon Snap?
It's the last week of the month.
Okay, so that's a Pokemon Snap. I'm surprised they didn't capitalize the S here for Snappy event. Or put it in quotes or something. Weekly free bundles are still going on. Every Monday in April, a free one-time bundle containing a remote raid pass and other items will be available in the shop. Go grab those. They usually have, I think, remote raid passes. So if you're using the remote raid passes, grab them. I am not using the remote raid passes, and so I can't grab it. Well, we got a nice little calendar here for people that are watching the video versions. This one is by, I believe, Couple of Gaming. April 2021 events. Some details here. Snivy Community Day. Weekly free bundle. Mega raids. They have put a question mark, but it's in the mega raids, but it is, I keep forgetting, Lot Bunny. Bunnery, Lot Bunny, Bunnelby.
Diggersby.
Diggersby. Is there another bunny Pokemon? I feel like there's another
Big
bunny
Chungus.
Wow.
I mean, there are a few rabbit Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
You also have, is Meryl a rabbit, though?
Meryl, technically, maybe.
Azumarill is for sure. You also have the new ones, Scorbunny and all of them.
Oh, yes. Good heavens, we need to stop naming Pokemon after bunnies. All right. Rivals Week. We've got a little bit of details here for the upcoming Rivals Week. PokemonGo.com/post/rivals-week-2021 /HL=EN. Trainers, some legends arise from the power of friendship, while others arise from fierce rivalries. The season of legends continue with Rivals Week, an event celebrating rivalries between Pokemon. Skrelp and Clauncher will be making their Pokemon Go debuts. Plus, Therian Formi Landorus will be appearing in 5-star raids for the first time. Date and time, Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 at 10 a.m. to Sunday, April 18th, 2021 at 8 p.m. local time. Features. Skrelp and Clauncher will be making their Pokemon Go debuts. They'll be appearing in the wild, in raids, and in encounters after you complete field research tasks. Therian Formi Landorus is also making its Pokemon Go debut. Encountered the Abundance Pokemon in 5-star raids. Really? That's its name? It is the Abundance Pokemon. Interesting. Enjoy the Rivals Week Challenge in the Global Challenge Arena. All trainers around the world can work together to win raid battles and unlock 8x2 catch Stardust bonus for the duration of the event. Really? Oh, that's dope. That's... So it's like a challenge similar to previous Go Fests, correct?
That sounds right.
Win raid battles and unlock a ×2 catch Stardust bonus for the duration of the event. The event itself is what? Not even a full week? Yeah, they really want us to do raids. You're right,
Yeah.
Eric. They really want us to do raids. Pokemon known for their rivalries will be appearing more often in the wild, such as Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Makuhita, Meditite, Zangoose, Seviper, and more. The following Pokemon will be hatching from 5K eggs throughout the event: Machop, Tyrogue, Elekid, Magby, Makuhita, Meditite, Zangoose, and Seviper. Rivalries will continue in raids as well. Pokemon like Nido Queen, Nido King, Zangoose, Seviper, and more will be appearing in raids. Enjoy event-exclusive field research tasks that will lead to encounters with rival Pokemon, such as Skrelp and Clauncher as well. Sources tell us that Team Go Rocket will be taking over Pokestops more often. Their balloons will also be appearing more frequently.
On that note, I have the move pools for both the evolutions of the new Pokemon, Clawitzer, which is Clauncher's evolution.
Yes.
And I'm going to say it wrong, Dragalge, which is the
Dragalge?
the other one's evolution. So the Dragalge,
I think it's
fast moves.
It's Dragalge. It's like algae, I think. Dragalge.
Dragon algae.
Yeah. Dragalge.
It's a dragon poison type. It reaches a max CP of 2694. Its fast moves are Dragon Tail, Acid, and Water Gun. Its fast moves are Outrage, Gunk Shot, and Hydro Pump. Kind of gross. Its attack stat is 177, defense is 207, and stamina will be 163. Kind of disappointing for a potentially good, really good typing.
Mm-hmm.
Clawitzer, though, max CP 3124.
No.
It's much bigger. It's a pure water type. Attack is 221. Defense is 171. Stamina is 174. This one's move pool looks a little bit more appealing. It's got Water Gun, Smackdown for its fast moves. And then Crab Hammer, Ice Beam, and Dark Pulse, and Water Pulse.
New Kingler.
Basically.
That's a great way to put it. Huge in the attack stat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, read its moveset again.
For Clawitzer,
Yeah.
Water Gunner Smackdown,
Okay.
Crab Hammer,
Mm-hmm.
Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, or Water Pulse.
Moveset wise, I don't think it becomes a new. I mean, most people already have water raiders, like a raid team built up with water. But this actually seems fairly solid. But its moveset is not ideal for it. Beyond raiding with an attack stat that high, it's gonna be niche. You'll see some videos of people trying it out. I honestly don't think it. I don't think either of these two will really perform. We might see Dragalge show up.
I really wish it didn't
perform.
have just acid.
Or
they reworked acid, because
so it literally only has
dragon
acid?
type that isn't afraid of fairy is not very common.
Yeah, so it literally only has acid for its fast move.
Acid, Dragon Tail, or Water Gun.
Acid it is then. Yeah,
What is it? Water Kingdra? Or Poison Kingdra?
Poison Kingdra, basically.
Yeah. But with a max cap of 2694, that could be an interesting Ultra Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Smackdown coverage on Clawitzer.
Launcher could be interested, yeah.
Yeah. Because is it just a straight water?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas Dragalge is Dragon Poison. Which Steel completely walls that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. I mean, I think the main... Your Steel... Let's see, because Bug's not weak to poison. I think the matchup kind of depends with... What am I thinking? Fortress? I think the matchup there kind of depends. I think Fortress is primarily going to win with, I think, Mirror Shot, because I think that moveset on Dragalge is just bad.
Yeah. And it doesn't have much it can do. Even Water Gun build wouldn't do much.
Yeah, and I think most other steals are just going to outpace it.
They're going to outbulk it.
Yeah, there's just no other... yeah, you might see some play against Fortress as far as a steel type, but every other steel type is gonna
still outbeat. Stunfisk will just still G-Fisk will just still beat it.
yeah, because I think Fortress's grass secondary typing adds a little bit of curiosity to it, but
Fortress is Bug and Steel. You're thinking Ferrothorn.
I'm thinking Ferrothorn. I do apologize. Yep. Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but we might see some reworks or maybe some move pool changes.
No, we might.
That's just what they found so far by mining.
We might. They might change the move pool up once they're actually released. I think they've done that in the past.
We've done that. We've seen that before.
Speaking of Skrelp CD, is it a 2-tier or a 3-tier evolution?
Both of them are a single evolution.
I mean, we could see a community day for either of them, but more likely to see that we more
Who
likely
was
that
it?
we
I think
see
it was Jamar in our chat basically said, "Oh, look, new Tentacool."
Yeah. We might see a CD for them. I think it would be more likely that we get a move balance that would affect them, or they just get new moves. So Dragon Poison is an interesting type combo. We don't see it until Sword and Shield
we get
Gen 8.
Well, no, we see it in the Ultra Beasts in Sun and Moon.
Oh, right. I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Ultra Beasts, so yeah. Still,
that's going to be interesting to see how they do those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's something I don't think we've really talked about, because those are
Alola.
Right. They're like mythicals almost, right?
Yeah.
Can you encounter multiple of them?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
Weird. Yeah, I imagine those are going to be similar to... Nope, we are not thinking about it. Wait, what are we thinking about? What are we not thinking about?
I accidentally went to the next tab. I'm not looking at that yet. I'm excited to talk about the next one.
Oh, wait.
Our next content.
Oh. You want to move on to the next topic then?
Is that considered a transition into the PvP?
Oh yeah, you know, give me a second. I gotta hit buttons.
Welcome to the meta-analysis.
It's meta-analysis time. It's meta-analysis time. We're going into the meta-analysis. We are talking about the mid-season of Season 7 move rework. Quote-unquote move rework. What do we call this? Just an update? Patch
Move
notes?
update? Patch notes. I like patch notes.
Patch notes. For, let's see, this will go live on Monday, April 12th at
Patch
1
notes
p.m.
pulls a giant piece of tape to sound like a Band-Aid or something.
PDT. So this came out last week, a little over a week ago. We have 2 updates, which is a drastic change from last season's updates, which was, I think there were like 7 or 8 updates, but they were minor tweaks all over the place. The update previous was, no, actually we got little tweaks to moves, and then we got, I think, the addition of a move or 2, because I believe Incinerate was added last season as well. Incinerate and something else, which I don't think is relevant anymore. And the move update previous, I think, added a couple of Community Day moves. No, that would have been, I think, last update. I'd have to go back and look to see what Season 6 updated. Season 7 updates that are upcoming. A powerful grass-type charge attack. Leaf Storm will decrease your Pokemon attack stat after use. Sunflora, Celebi, Ludicolo, Roserade, and Leavanny will be able to learn Leaf Storm. The following attack will be available to Pokemon that couldn't learn them before. Payback will be able to be learned by Persian, Alolan Persian, Cacnea, Cacturn, Absol, Bronzor, Bronzong, and Liepard will all be able to learn this powerful Dark-type charge attack. That's it. Those are the updates. So, Jesse, I'm gonna tell you the big winners here. You still with me?
Yep.
Okay. Big winners here. For Leaf Storm, you're looking at Leavanny. That's about it. Ludicolo gets a little bit of extra play. It's fairly niche. You can use it to some effect. Leaf Storm might add some additional play to Ludicolo, but I don't think it improves it a whole lot. Roserade in the same boat. I don't think Leaf Storm will really give it a whole lot more play. Leavanny is probably the only thing that's going to perform maybe differently than what it was before. It's going to have another piece of kit that will potentially change it up. We don't see a whole lot of Leavanny usage. I think its stats are all right, and its moveset is pretty darn good. So this is, if ever there was a quote-unquote winner with Leaf Storm, I would say it's Leavanny.
And I think the consensus is here is consensus is that Leaf Storm is a Wild Charge clone, more or less.
Yeah, I think that's the overall thought, which is good, I guess. I mean, in general, the big benefit with Wild Charge is a lot of the electric type Pokemon that would use it can get to it really fast with a very fast energy gain fast move.
Energy, yeah, good energy kits.
High energy gain fast moves. Whereas grass type primarily have Seed,
Vine Whip,
Vine Whip, and then Bullet Seed as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think, if I remember correctly, Bullet Seed doesn't have the same energy gain as some of the electric type moves. And someone would have to correct me with the primary numbers, the exact numbers there. So we'll have to see it in play. I don't think it's on enough relevant Pokemon to really change the way that the meta is pointing. Bullet Seed is a Snarl clone. What's Snarl's energy gain versus something like Volt Switch?
I can tell you. Give me a second.
Okay. I mean, this doesn't apply to a lot of big performers, but I think that actually might be the point. Leaf Storm, they don't want to add it to something that already performs well or add it to something that already has a chunk of relevance
So
and really
Snarl
change. Yep.
is a 13 energy gain. Volt Switch is a 16.
And what's the durations?
Uh,
Is it roughly the same?
you get 1 extra Snarl out of 5 over Volt Switch. It's a 5-to-4 ratio.
Okay. So in the long run, I think Snarl still gets some more energy out. So Bullet Seed is a solid performer. And let's see. Does Celebi have Bullet Seed? I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure
that was one of the
Roserade.
recent ones that got it.
Celebi got Bullet Seed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Roserade. Yeah, Roserade got Bullet Seed. Roserade with Bullet Seed, Weather Ball Fire, and Leaf Storm is going to be amazing. Maybe, but it's also attack weighted and is a very low level within Great League. For Ultra League, Roserade might actually perform fairly well. Bullet Seed is a 4.33 energy per turn versus Volt Switch being a 4. So I'm incorrect. Bullet Seed has a higher energy gain than Volt Switch. So
it just feels like Volt Switch does so much better.
It feels like Volt Switch does a lot better, and I think that's just the amount of attack animations. I use that because I was recently using the Raichu. I was running Brick Break or Volt Switch, Brick Break, Wild Charge on Raichu. And that's sort of like the stuck in my head as far as how fast getting to moves. It's pretty darn quick. So that's theoretically, if Leaf Storm is a clone of Wild Charge, then it's too bad the switch timer is back to a minute.
Do we want to transition to that or the topic about Leavanny?
Let's finish with Payback because there is a huge winner with Payback and it's not the most relevant. Volt Switch feels better because it has a better damage output than Bullet Seed. Yes. Yeah, that's probably true. That I imagine is what my feeble gray matter is thinking. Pokemon that weren't able to learn Payback that are now able to learn Payback. Persian, Alolan Persian, you don't see him get out of here. Cacnea and Cacturn, it's going to help Cacturn, but it's uber attack weighted and glassy, and get that out of here. Absol, attack weighted. Who's using an Absol in GB?
I mean, this might make me want to.
Don't do it, Jesse. Just don't do it. Just don't. Absol doesn't exist. Just forget about it.
It's the Persona Absol. You never saw it coming.
Liepard has a very interesting kit. Adding Payback makes it all the more interesting. I think Liepard is one that's got Charm, Snarl as fast move options, and then has, I think, Dazzling Gleam and Dark Pulse or something else.
That sounds right.
It's got a wacky moveset. And I'm a little disappointed. It's like doesn't perform as like it doesn't sim as well as I would hope. I think I have like a rank 4 or something that I would love to use. This might be the excuse to do it. But the biggest winner here, it's not Bronzong, it's Bronzor. It's Bronzor in Little Cup, so CP 500 and less.
Gross.
Yeah, so it's Bronzor and Little Cup learning Payback. It now, rather than the mirror match being absolutely disgusting to play out and just watch it. Payback adds whoever can get an unshielded Payback in wins that mirror match, and Bronzor's overall coverage just skyrockets for Little Cup. So I hate that like Bronzong, like Little Cup XL Bronzor. Yeah, now that level 50 Bronzor, level 50 is around. Yeah, Bronzor is the clear winner here for Payback. Bronzong, it allows for additional coverage. In the same instance, it's gonna help out whoever gets that unshielded Payback in the mirror matchup is gonna have a great advantage. I don't know if it one hit kills. I'd have to look at the sim to see how much damage Payback does to another Bronzong. But yeah, from what I've looked at and what I've seen online, the Little Cut Bronzor is the clear winner in this, which is really unfortunate because
Please don't bring it back.
they don't. If we're looking at move updates once every 3 months at the in-between of each season, like, we don't see a whole lot of move updates. And there's a lot of things that need adjustment. Acid's bad. Poison types are just not good, period. Steel types are pretty solid, but their moves are just bad. We need Will-O-Wisp. Like, there's a lot of things that could use tweaking here and there, and it might just be slow rollout to see what tweaks are, but these updates are few and far between, and it's going to feel a little rough. So unless the Pokemon that are released in between these move updates are relevant, you're not seeing a whole lot of meta shakeup. So
yeah.
Okay, do you want to do bonus topic?
Yeah.
If we're talking about Leavanny, its base form is Sewaddle, and it's adorable. Actually, can I open up this GIF open original? This is actually not. This is Swaddleloon, I believe. This is the second form, so not Sewaddle and not Leavanny, but little GIF. Little angry GIF. So Leavanny is an interesting Pokemon. Leavanny's shown up, was featured in an event. Oh, how long ago? I
want to say it was early December.
Sewaddle. I need to spell it right. Sewaddle. Let's see. I caught the one that I have in August.
Yep.
August of 2020. Well, that was a while ago. Feels like a while ago. It was a while ago. August of 2020, it came out. It was featured in an event. I have no idea what event it was. It was... Goodness gracious. Some sort of... Was it a bug event? Was it like Bug Out or something? Potentially?
I don't know. It's been too long.
I'd have to go back through PokemonGoLive.com. I say it enough times that we might as well also be sponsored. PokemonGoLive.com for all of your Pokemon Go news and updates. So Sewaddle, released in August of 2020, was around for, I think, a week, maybe a week and a half. People caught a bunch of them. And then they disappeared. Like, gone. And shoot, Eric, I just remembered about the art piece that I was going to do for this. I will maybe draw that up tonight. So Sewaddle just basically disappeared off the face of the earth. I've only seen and caught one. I think Jamar had seen and caught 20-something is what he showed. Is it? Yes, let's see. He showed here. He has seen and caught 15. Dino, on the other hand, while it's been out for longer, in the case of Jamar's stats, he had seen and caught 58 compared to Sewaddle. Now, there is a little bit of a time difference as far as which one released when. But Eric and I went down the rabbit hole last week and asked, why is Sewaddle so uncommon? It is eligible. Leavanny is eligible within Prismatic Cup. It actually does some pretty interesting things. Its moveset's pretty solid, too. Where is it? Where is Sewaddle? So Eric found a couple of resources to find out sort of the overall spawn rates of Sewaddle. And in DC proper alone, there have been 22 spawns of Sewaddle. In half that amount of time, so around, let's see, it was what did we say? Mid-February. So since mid-February, you're looking at the end of February and all of March. You're looking at 22 spawns of Dino. So in half the time, you've seen the same amount of spawns of Dino to Sewaddle. Why is Sewaddle so rare? So we did some digging. In the main series games, Dino has... I'd have to pull up the numbers, the core numbers again. Dino has a spawn rate of usually around, I think, 15% or so within the main game, and then I think it bumps up to around 30% in a couple of end game areas, depending on where you're at. That's like walking throughout the grass, having a random encounter, and encountering a Dino. You have about a 30% chance, and a 60% chance of encountering something else. Or if you're looking in the earlier on in a 15%, you have a, what is that? Not 75. Math, terrible math. 85. You're looking at an 85% chance of it being another Pokemon other than Dino. Sewaddle's spawn rate early on in the game, early on in its own game, has a spawn rate of, I believe it was between 3 and 10%. So it has a smaller spawn rate chance in its main series game than Dino does. And Dino is the pseudo-legendary. It is the dragon type that you usually encounter later on in the game. So Dratini, Dino, Gibble, all Pokemon that you usually encounter later on in the game because they are pseudo-legendaries. The dragon type is incredibly powerful. Thus, you encounter it later on in the game. Sewaddle in the main series, and I don't know why, Sewaddle in the main series games just has a incredibly low spawn percentage. So theoretically, that is your correlation as to why Sewaddle are so darn rare. They're out there, they are spawning, they're just going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll come back in a rotation. Sewaddle is a 3-tier. If at some point, I imagine it'll come back in a rotation for an event or two before we get a community day. But Sewaddle being a 3-tier is a prime candidate for a community day in the future. So,
and it's not one people think much about either. It's a bug.
I mean, it certainly isn't. It's a bug grass. It is a much better Parasect because Parasect is bad. Parasect is real bad. It's too bad because Jesse and I caught the same rank 1 Great League Parasect like a year and a half ago plus. And that would be it's a really interesting with bug grass, a rather interesting type combo. Its moveset's not great, and its overall stat spread is not fantastic. It just doesn't stand out in any stat whatsoever. The bug grass, I think, plays it more as a status effector in the main series games than it does as a reasonable attacker. So it just doesn't translate well to GBL or into Pokemon Go. So Sewaddle Leavanny has a really good moveset and reasonable stats too, but it's just so darn rare. So
yeah,
that's our secret topic, little nugget information of Sewaddle's out there.
If you see a Sewaddle, don't overlook it.
You go catch that. If you see it on the nearby, you go for it, because it'll probably be the only one you see for a while. Okay. Do we have another sidestep here to talk about?
The ban list for Great League Remix, or do you want to save that for the end?
We'll save that for the end.
Okay.
Following attacks added to Pokemon Go. We've talked about those. Payback. Yes, we've talked about those. Okay. Let us dip our toes back into Prismatic Cup. We will talk briefly about the usage so far within the less than a week, less than the first week of April in Prismatic Cup. I am scared to report that it seems the overall usage and the team comp from some early tournaments is looking a lot like a Ferocious Cup, where it boils down to the top 8 or so Pokemon. Let's dive into some numbers here. Jesse.
Yes.
Do you want to start us off?
So I was able to be in a practice tournament with Western Washington University. Thank you for Bowling Bacon for hosting. My team, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the list real quick here. If I can find, actually, I could just look at my tag team because I have it saved. I went with, not to no one's surprise, 3 of the top ones here. I have Hypno, I have Talonflame, and I have Lantern. I have Whimsicott, I have Gliscor, and by Barrel. So the first 3, no surprise. The latter 3, huh?
It was Whimsicott, Gliscor, and B-Barrel.
Yeah, you won't even see Bearball on that list, so don't look.
B-Barrel.
Oh no, there it is.
There
It's me
It's
at
the
1%. I am the 1%.
This is on all teams. This isn't even winning teams. So
No, I know.
where is Gliscor? It's got to be higher up, right? There's Gliscor. And then Whimsicott, I believe, is higher up at a 9%. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my experience, I mean, again, this practice tournament was held back when the 30-second switch timer was still active as well. So it definitely is going to make a big difference when the R Cup and others start now after the switch timer has been reverted back to a full minute. For me, big players, I feel like Hypno is the safe swap for most of my teams. Safe swap or the lead option. I am running a unique Hypno with the legacy move Psyshock, so I have a little bit more coverage and options for what I can do. My biggest problem was my opponents usually caught the Lantern on either a grass or something that Lantern could not do anything to, which kind of hindered it. And as we know, Lantern needs some momentum to get going, and then even then, its charge moves are really slow to get to with either Spark or Water Gun.
Oh, yeah.
I think the biggest benefit for me was the fact that Talonflame could just come in and dive bomb things and then safely run away with the 30-second timer. Now, with that being back up to a minute, you have to be a little bit more careful with how you play with Talonflame. You're either in it for the long run or are you building up to dive bomb with the Brave Bird. By Barrel for me was kind of a fill pick. It was my last option. And I scratched my head at why PvP Poke was recommending it to me. But honestly, it actually was more beneficial than I thought by catching off the ghost types, the Quagsires of the Cup, and Snorlax, because I could definitely pace with Snorlax because of the Lick not doing anything to Barrel's normal type. I did have to watch out for Lantern, other grass, and fighting, though.
Right. The normal water is... B-Barrel's got a little bit of chunk to him, but, you know, mileage may vary.
Yeah, the biggest bane for my team was ice types or steel, if I couldn't catch them on Talonflame.
What was your overall experience with your opponent's teams? How are you feeling?
I spent 4 hours building this team on one day, and I still am not happy with what I built. It's really going to be a hard challenge because I feel like a lot of people are going to run some of the core stuff, but I also feel like you should be expecting literally anything in this cup. Like, as you can see here on this chart, it goes from 13% straight down to 9 and then just kind of dips. And with that much number variation, like you can look at key glance, I see 6 or 7 things that are all consistently at 5%.
And let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 times 2, you're looking at 26 plus Pokemon at a 1% usage, which means they're being used.
Yeah.
But
so we're only
often
6 days into the cup as of this recording. So, you know, take these numbers with a grain of salt, because obviously the things at the top are the ones that people are using because they perform very well. They've got great coverage and they do their job efficiently. But in my experience, it really comes down to catching out your opponent and having the right answers to the right things at the right time. I mean, per PvP normality, but with your teams, be careful what you choose and make sure you have answers not only to what you see up at the top, but at the bottom too.
Yeah, this is a
Bill,
very
go ahead.
the top usage you showed the team comps for your practice tournament, and the overall abundance of these top Hypno, Talonflame, Lantern, Driftblim was up there. Makes me very worried that it looks like a Ferocious Cup where
I saw a lot of teams and a lot of early builds for team building I did. Shiftry and Whimsicott always seem to be a pair.
interesting. So a double grass.
Yep. Which makes me want to run Leavanna even more.
Yeah, that would be a solid.
The only thing Leavanny would fear would be Talonflame, Fires, or Grok. Or the sneaky, cheeky flying types like Noctowl.
There's a lot of variability here. There's a lot of options here, but the overall usage that is stacked in Hypno and Talonflame's favor makes me nervous. I'm not saying that I don't want to come off and basically hate on Ferocious. I didn't want to play Ferocious because it was the same core and
over and over
again. And I believe there was a solid, I think 2 or 3 of the core I just didn't have access to. And so I was not interested in facing literally the same opponent, the same teams over and over again.
Yeah.
So whereas a lot of people enjoyed Ferocious, I think because of the same teams over and over again, where it was strictly speaking a luck in the lead / skill matchup.
The RPS.
Yeah, RPS and strictly skill of you're running with the same, basically you're all running with the same deck of cards who can use it better.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like lambast Ferocious for being, I get scared with the concept of the same teams over and over again because we have such a large availability of, or I'm completely and totally butchering the sentence. We have so many available Pokemon that could perform, and in some cases they don't perform. But we have such this large availability. We've seen metas before that showcase a ton of different Pokemon. I very much dislike seeing the same teams over and over again. I think to that note, like the draft format is really cool because it allows, it forces and showcases a ton of different Pokemon that normally wouldn't show up because usually you can't pick the same Pokemon as someone else. So the usage here scares me a bit. But I think deservedly so. Hypno, I think, performs incredibly well. The overall stats of it perform well, and its move versatility.
Its utility, its versatility.
Yeah. The Talonflame, I'm still wondering if Talonflame is just performing as well as it is. If it is it performing as well as it's showing, or is the overall usage showing how well it performs, or is it was the last community day, it's a pretty cool Pokemon and a ton of people are using it because it's actually it's decent enough, everyone has access to it, and it's the new hotness.
Yeah. Not to mention, we also, like I mentioned with the Switch timer, that probably is another reason why it has so much play.
Yes. I don't want to I'm not a Talonflame hater. I haven't powered one up. I haven't used one. Realistically, I should probably shut up and go use Talonflame and see how well it performs.
I will say this, as someone that rarely uses fire types, I'm really enjoying it.
Maybe I'm just bitter because Ninetales isn't as good. I don't know. There are other fire types that I like more than Talonflame. Maybe that's it. You know, maybe I have to go see a psychologist about this. I got to see a shrink explain my feelings and work through them.
Does the fox beat the hawk?
I think no, because of flame charge. But you
Yep.
know, that's a pure stat breakdown. In my mind, I would like to see Ninetales win, but you know that probably isn't the case. I'm running a team. I'm going to be running a team as we discussed. Actually, as we discussed last week in a bonus episode of the podcast, where we talked with Eric BN and Jamar, and did somebody else hop in the chat as well? Was there a third person? Or was it just those two?
Just those two.
We talked about team building for this meta because team building is so bizarre in this between good performers and the color limitations per slot it's weird. It's so weird. So go listen to that. I think it's a 2 hour and change, super easy listening. Either put it on in the background while you're team building or out doing gardening or, you know, riding a bike or something. Go put on some easy listening. Listen to us talk about team building. I put together a team without Talonflame. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll find out. But it's I
think your biggest concern is if you get your fire type in the matchup against that, it's going to have the advantage just because it has the extra coverage move.
Yes. Yeah, and I think overall this Prismatic, I like the concept of Prismatic. It just makes me nervous with the overall usage, the way that it's showing. Yeah. And again, I
change those numbers to past wins in 7 days and see what that looks like.
Yes, because this is all matchups. So match victors: Hypno at 36, Talonflame at 30, Lantern at 15, Driftblim at 13. Wow, that's a hard drop off. Lantern, Driftblim, Shiftry, Quagsire at above a 10%. Whimsicott is at 10%. It dips back down to Snorlax at 8, a number of 7%. Ugh.
I mean, a safe combo right there is Shifter, Whimsicott, Quagsire.
Mm-hmm. Right, but you're also looking at, 30 over a third of everyone is running a Hypno in their team.
Yep.
And just under a third of everyone is running a Talonflame.
Yep.
In their final battle. So, or the winners, actually, I should say. So, realistically, if you watch sports, you might get my complaint here. When it comes to sports, sometimes they really like to dig deep and sort of cherry pick stats. Like, X player has gotten, 7 goals in the last 8 games at this particular opposing team's stadium. And it's like, why are we focusing so deep in that? And more like, hey, this person has scored some goals overall. Like, why are we looking at such a weirdly specific stat of the day? Like, so in this instance, it's in the last 6 days. So at the very beginning of Prismatic Cup, Hypno has over a third of all players who win in their final match victors. Is that the 3 battles? So the people that have won their matchups of 3 against their opponent in the last 6 days, over a third of them have had Hypno on that team. Yep. It's a very specific stat. But it also shows that Hypno is
just great utility.
We've seen it before. I don't think we'll ever see a Hypno specific nerf because there's no way to nerf Hypno specifically. Yeah. Unless you nerf all of the punches, which affect way too many other Pokemon, and unless you nerf Confusion, which affect a number of other Pokemon. Is
bread and butter for a lot of psychics.
Yeah, which you might see like the minute nerf of 1 energy point or a damage point, like we saw in the past. But you won't see a hard nerf on Hypno, and I think it performs well enough. You just have to see other Pokemon perform well enough around it in in metas like this. So
Yeah.
that was talking enough about stats that
Speaking of stats,
to
do we want to jump into about the timer?
Yes, let's talk about the Switch timer because of the April Fool's Rocket event. They blamed Team Rocket that the Switch timer went from 60 seconds to 30 seconds, which is a weird thing to do, but a thing that they did nonetheless. So for, what was it, 4 days, 5 days?
I think 5.
Around 5 days. Yeah, that sounds right. April 1st to like April 5th-ish. The Switch timer went from 60 seconds to 30 seconds. So you can switch immediately into the game, 30 seconds. When you fired off a charge move, the timer doesn't stop like it currently does. The timer doesn't stop for shielding, charge move animations, any of that stuff. So it sped up the game a lot. It took me a couple days, but I stepped into GBL to get some play in because I would be remiss if I didn't experience the change myself to talk about it. Jesse, you did the tournament, the practice tournament, and I presume you did some GBL as well. What are your overall thoughts on the Switch timer adjustment?
Oh Lord, there were so many Pokemon that it ruined the debuffers and made the self-debuff nukers incredibly common.
Right.
There was everyone running a defense Deoxys.
Oh, right. Because
Psycho Boost, I'm going to run away, haha.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here with things like Dugong trying to Icy Wind. Oh, that sucks. I'm just going to take off now, bye.
Yeah. It just doesn't get to Icy Wind fast enough for it to, like...
Well, the things swapped out before it was beneficial.
Right.
Because the purpose of the debuffers is you want to trap them in there on those.
Right, and you have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds in the beginning of a matchup to get to an Icy Wind and then feel its effects before a Pokemon gets swapped out and that effect goes away.
Yeah.
It's... Yeah, it...
I mean, it's also why we saw an increase in things like Magnezone for Wild Charge, Brave Bird users like Skarmory or Talonflame.
Raichu.
And I mean, sure, you do have to build up to the move still, but it was a very beneficial time for those Pokemon.
Uh-huh. Fascinating. Sorry, I got distracted by Twitter. It's definitely sped up. I think one of the major points that I've seen and I experienced in very low rankings in GBL, because I will admit I had not played any GBL for this season until playing with the Switch timer. So I was playing against some people that I don't want to say that they weren't taking it seriously, but I was playing at a rank lower than I would. I will most certainly surpass the rankings that I was in. I was playing in ranks well below where my skill level is, and of course I was playing against some people that might be stuck in those lower ranks, and then some people that are in the same boat as I was, where they're like, oh, I just haven't played any of Season 7 yet. So
from the thread of Reddit that I sent to you, one of the comments is, no, I didn't enjoy Mr. Polytoad. I'll spam 3 weather balls and then yeet out.
Yeah, the spam was interesting. I would start with Raichu, the aforementioned Raichu of Volt Switch, Brick Break, and Wild Charge. Probably could have gotten away with, because Thunder Punch I think is a little bit spammier, but just to help bait out. With all of the swaps, it if you're in a lead matchup that's disadvantageous, you can swap a little bit more freely and not feel as locked in and hard countered.
Yeah.
The other benefit is with GBL and not having like pure RPS usually. Rock, paper, scissors, I should to clarify. You're not seeing, you don't always see absolute hard counters when you swap out of a disadvantageous lead matchup. So the 30-second timer was a bit refreshing. I think adjusts some of the play as far as the faster, spammier charge moves. And then the buff debuff dynamic definitely changes with the faster swap, because anytime you swap, the buff or debuffs that are on a particular Pokemon that has been swapped go away.
Yeah.
So that is that basic. I guess you could call it a core mechanic. That portion of the mechanic is hydrate, drink water. I saw a shirt that said "Stay hydrated and don't be racist." And if I ever see that in an online shop, if I ever stumble upon it, I will buy it. I think it was a little bit of a refreshing change. I think if we went to, some people are like, why not just turn it to 30 seconds and then leave it? I think that there is too much adjustments to the core gameplay of PvP between the overall amount of energy gain, the speed in which we can get to very spammy and high damaging charge moves, only having 2 shields, and then the buff debuff mechanics that I think if the switch timer was reduced to 30 seconds permanently, I think we need a large amount of adjustments to get into a better balance of the core PvP game loop. So
How's it going, DeFi?
The switching over to, say, 45 seconds, meeting in the middle and going to 45 seconds, I think might play better and require less adjustments. I don't know if sticking to 30 seconds would require the addition of, say, a third shield and not this sort of switching in.
Third shield is being an actual shield,
Yeah.
not swapping into a Pokemon.
Yeah, so legitimately having a third shield in the resources rather than you don't necessarily have to count fast moves, but getting a good sense of when a charge move is going to come out and swapping to a Pokemon right before the charge move gets fired, that would be super resistant to that charge move and thus not requiring a shield in that scenario. Or sacrificing a Pokemon because they're either low HP or you don't need
You have
them.
something that benefits to stay alive.
you don't need them for your win condition to be able to, take that damage. So it's, yeah, 1 minute does feel long. I think with switching over to 30 seconds, we definitely see a bit of, we get a little taste of.
Another suggestion in this Reddit forum was the charge moves don't keep, the timer stops when a charge move happens.
That's not a bad option. The programming adjustment in the core of the game
I don't
probably
envy them.
it would probably be pretty disgusting. I guess the one benefit is that I think the hitting of the charge move bubbles and the animation of the charge moves, I think, is uniform. So you could probably set up the programming and adjust it to pause it, but I think it's also a that would be adding additional programming for there to be lag and desync and some really weird, because it's still
then you got to worry about
matchmaking.
network connections and stuff.
Yeah, I think the springing it down to we got a really interesting taste of a sort of a different flavor with the 30-second timer. I think bringing it to the 45-second, meeting in the middle, going back to the 60-second, it's incredibly slow, but it's what we're used to, and it's what
I enjoy it.
yeah. I mean, the 60-second is what we're used to. What I think the mechanics play, what the current energy mechanics and buff debuff, I think, benefit from the most currently. But I think splitting the difference and going into 45 seconds, I think still allows for some of those debuff moves to really take effect, while also upping the pace and reducing the overall frustration of completely and totally unfavorable matchups.
Just the pure chaos too.
Yeah. It makes it a little, it splits the difference in that pure chaos to like utter slow. Because if you're in a, if you don't want to leave a matchup, if you're stuck in a matchup and you're just getting hard countered every time you swap, I mean, thank goodness there's the, leave battle button, but that can make the 60-second switch timer can just add so much frustration.
I mean, it's a whole different set of strategy when they reduced it to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then to bring it back to 60, you have to readjust that strategy.
Mm-hmm. And I think I would have to go back and find it. I think I saw it briefly. Somebody was making a comment about the 60-second switch timer and some of the ways that I think GBL, I'll have to, honestly, I think I'll have to find it because I'm not giving enough context, and it brought up a really interesting point that the mechanics of GBL are basically an unhappiness machine. That it really propagates frustration in a player.
Well, once Silph Arena's open back up to the public, come meet me to my face, then we can have a friendly chat afterward.
Oh, as far as once in public tournaments are available?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
because you can't have that level of frustration when you're in public.
You can't outwardly express that level of frustration. In a socially acceptable way. Let me rephrase that. You can always throw your phone afterwards or in the middle of a match. Is it socially acceptable to do so? No, you can do it anyway. Yeah, I think splitting the difference going to 45 is a solid option. I think we're still moving in the direction where high energy gain fast moves and very spammy charge moves are really pushing the game's mechanics. No, Jamar, I'll get us kicked out of Starbucks for another reason. I was thinking throwing stars rather than throwing phones or something else.
Whoa.
I don't know. I'll figure something out.
That escalated quickly.
I'll figure something else. I'll walk in with a Tully's cup, even though they don't exist anymore. I was like, hey guys, I'm enjoying a really good coffee. You guys should try them. They're called Tully's. They don't exist anymore. They went out of business like a number of years ago. So I think Starbucks would just frown on me. I don't think they would actually kick me out for it. But yeah, I think overall PvP is moving more towards a very rip Tully's. I think it's
Walk
moving
in with a Mercury's.
Mercury's coffee. I'm trying to think of what the hard counter to Starbucks is, I guess.
McDonald's.
What's super effective? Walk in with no, it's like Dutch Bros. Walk in with a Dutch Bros cup or something, or a Dunkin' Donuts, like a legitimate Panera cup. Exact opposite. Just a pasta bowl. Just a big old pasta bowl and a
Pasta bowl filled with
cup.
coffee.
Oh God.
Drinking it with a spoon.
walk in with a big gulp. 7-Eleven Slurpee.
Jeez.
I think we're moving in as I've said, I think twice now. I think we're moving into an interesting spot of high energy gain and very spammy fast moves where your shields, you really have to know
They take a
when
little
to
bit more
shields.
precedence in the strategy.
Yes, whereas previously we didn't have. I think we've had body slam for a very long time, but the weather ball spam has really gone up and really been more of a priority in some Pokemon's movesets. So I think that really adjusts where we're heading currently within the overall meta. I'll be very interested to see if we get into. We had some like buff debuff. I would say the buff debuff meta was more prominent in the past, whereas I think it's taking a little bit more of a backseat now. So because there was a point where Power Up Punch was king.
Yeah.
Lucario was huge because it had counter Power Up Punch. A number of other Pokemon had Power Up Punch, and anything that had Power Up Punch was fantastic. So
Metacham.
And we've really seen between its nerf and the rest of the meta adjusting. Counter's still really good, but I think we've seen a number of other options and a number of other Pokemon take a higher stance, and we've adjusted where those really top performers, where we consider those top performers and what we consider those top performers. So I'll be interested to see if we do get a 45-second switch timer, and then how, if at all, Niantic adjusts the core mechanics of PvP. So, my windows are open and I'm a little cold. It is still spring, so it is warm-ish in the daytime and cold-ish at the nighttime. Are we wrapping the meta-analysis? Are we missing something?
We got the ban list for next week to talk about still.
Right. Is it still open? Oh, it is. Great League Remix. Oh, wait. Shoot. I don't have that open.
Don't go do extra effort if we don't need it.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to. What's even the program? I know I have it. Great League Remix from April 12th to April 26th. The top 10 Great League Pokemon are banned. It's the remix that isn't really all that remixed. It's because it's so I want to say it was the top 10 Pokemon usage-wise within Great League in its first iteration within Season 7, I think, is how they picked it. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The Great League Remix is a playlist, will be a playlist within GBL. The banned Pokemon, to no one's surprise, are Venusaur, both forms of Raichu, both forms of Marowak, which is a shame for Cantonian Marowak. It'll never see the light of day. Azumarill, Umbreon, Skarmory, Swampert, Galvantula, both forms of Stunfisk, and Talonflame, which is technically 13 Pokemon. I guess. Because 2 forms, correct? Technically 13 Pokemon are banned. Jesse, did you get all those Pokemon?
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
I was trying to find this thing here.
Here, I can share
Darn it. That's not what I want.
I can share
Google
this with you. There's the graphic here from Joe Stadium.
Yes. That's not what I was looking for, though. Sorry, 1 second.
Wallface? Wallface? Deoxys, Bastion, Registeel. Thanks, I hate it. Yes, your Defense Deoxys shows back up. The AWOC and let me think. What are the big Defense Deoxys counters here? AWOC, Umbreon.
Sableye.
Sableye not banned. I'm trying to think of the hard counters Defense Deoxys that use it. Makes its usage overall lower. I mean, its overall, the availability of Defense Deoxys also really lowers it because it only came around once and has not shown up again. The Alolan Marowak, I think, counters brings its overall usage down in the grand scheme of things. I think Galvantula drops its usage down as well. Umbreon usually drops its numbers down as well. So Defense Deoxys becomes a lot more relevant now. Metacham, Bastiodon, your core steals, some of your core fighters. I think a couple of dragons show up now that there's some of the better counters are gone. Let me see if the Remix, here we go. Rankings for Remix on PV Poke. Rank 1 is XL Metacham. Rank 2 is XL Bastiodon. Registeel, Defense Deoxys, Altaria, Wobbuffet, XL. It's got counter, so it's a big chunky wall that will help beat out steals. Cresselia, Shadow Machamp, Alolan Ninetales, and Bastiodon round out the top 10. So your fighters, your psychics, your steals become absolutely important here. And Alolan Ninetales with Powdered Snow helps beat out dragons or charm. So, but if you want to get to Weather Ball Ice and make full use of... Don't remind me, Jamar. I gave him that Wobbuffet and have not gotten one in return. So I have.
So one of the things I was looking at, Steven, also,
Mhm.
I recently added someone to our local group chat. Would you approve quick for me?
Yes.
Thank you. I was trying to look at our draft tournament that we did for Extra Life this year and see how much of those bans are currently being banned from this event that we're seeing coming in. I was trying to find the Discord link, but I couldn't find it. Or
Wait.
the Google Docs link
What
with the ban list.
The ban list of
The Battle Science tournament we had this year for Extra Life.
Oh.
I was trying to see how many of our bans from our players correlated into what was banned here today.
I can look that up. If you want to talk about what your thoughts are for the Remix Cup, I will find that document somewhere. I'll find it.
So I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. First glance, yeah, none of those don't surprise me. I'm really happy with the last three: Galvantula, Stunfisk, and Talonflame. I have yet to look at the rankings on PV Poke of how that's going to play out. So take a quick glance here. I know you were looking at that. Retro Cup, or it's not Retro, it's Remix. I'm sorry. Yeah, the XL's at the top. That's what you're talking about. I see that now. To answer, am I surprised about Raichu? No. I'm not surprised. I mean, Kanto Raichu, kind of.
Well, they banned both forms.
Right. It's the same thing with Stunfisk.
Right. Like the performance of both versions of Stunfisk, I think they have to ban both of them because of the way the Pokedex entries work within Pokemon Go. But like, both versions of Stunfisk perform fairly well. Well, I mean, one clearly above the other with Galarian Stunfisk. And it's like it's a darn shame. I mean, no one's going to want to use Cantonian Marowak anyway, but it's banned as well.
Yeah, that one surprises me.
The two Raichus,
I think, like you said, it's just on the coding side that makes it easier for them.
Yeah, the two Raichus I think perform fairly well and counter a number of I don't think they win against Talonflame, but they provide very good pressure.
Chestnut looks really good so far.
And then Azumarill as well. I believe they'll both beat. Yeah, they both beat Azumarill. I think unless you reverse the shields where Azumarill uses both shields and Raichu uses none. I think even if you use a shield, if the Azumarill has a shield advantage, I think it still wins. Yeah, Alolan Raichu and Raichu are like great coverage, great leads to help bait out shields, and
Yeah, they're very impressive.
Are also incredibly common. Like they're incredibly easy to get and are not incredibly complicated to use. So
No, they're pretty simple.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me a ton that it surprises me a little bit that they're that high, but it doesn't surprise me.
I didn't consider them a whitelist.
Yeah, if these are the top 10 Great League Pokemon that are, used, it does kind of, if they're going by usage, it does kind of surprise me they're that high, but it also doesn't surprise me a ton.
Yeah, because the flyers like Skarmory, Altaria, Talonflame are so common, not to mention Azu. I mean, they beat a good portion of all the stuff you see that is also banned on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not just because of their typing, it's just the consistency of damage. Looking at the ranking list, Dark, Normal, Psychic, and Fighting seem to be the most common types I see in the...
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the ban list for our Extra Life tournament from 2020.
The Schoolyard Scrap.
Yes, we have Galarian Stunfisk.
Okay.
Skarmory and Azumarill are the
Yep.
only things that match up here.
Everything else is different?
Yes. So the other things, the things that were banned in our tournament that aren't banned here, Altaria, Defense Deoxys, Tropius, Registeel, Cresselia, Machamp, Bastiodon.
So the things that we're afraid of for Remix are the things that were banned in that.
Yes. I would say that our players for that tournament were ahead of the curve and understood the grand scheme of...
Yeah, the one thing I don't like looking at this Remix list is the exclusivity of some of these legendaries.
Yeah, Defense Deoxys has shown up, I think, for a week or a couple of weeks, because I want to say it was
I think we've only had 2 or 3 events for it.
Wasn't it an EX raid?
Yeah.
So it was in EX raids for a period of time, and I think it showed up before that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't trade them because they're mythical. It's only shown up once or twice. And then Registeel with Lock-On, I think, has shown up twice.
Yep.
The XL Pokemon are still uncommon, and we've already talked about, and it still hasn't changed, the rarity of XL Candy. Yep. So that's still not helpful at all either. Altaria is going to be the only one that I imagine a ton of people have and have ready. So Niantic's, yeah. Defense Deoxys prints money like Bert. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, I remember when that came out, trying to get the locals to try and do Defense Deoxys, and they're like, "You're crazy." I was like, "Please come help me. I need more."
You have no idea how important this is.
I was like, Kylo Ren, the more. I almost reached a point I was willing to pay for people's accounts to help me.
Oh, good heavens.
I was just like, hey, remember all those favors I do for you guys? Join the raid. I don't care if you want it or not. Thank you, DeFi. Have a good night.
I'm a little disappointed that I still don't have... So right now I'm prioritizing trying to get the Hundo Chansey for Great League. And then I'll look at Wobbuffet XL or the Hundo Wobbuffet and Wobbuffet XL. And then I have no idea what else I need to be looking for like getting lucky with particular stat spreads.
Wigglytuff will definitely be a good one, and it's Wigglytuff and Bigoroth are always relevant.
Yes. Scrafty's in here too, which I appreciate. I do enjoy enjoy a good team comp with Scrafty.
Wigglytuff literally beats the two in front of it. That's what it's there for.
Oh yeah, hard counter to Sableye and Scrafty, like absolutely disgusting.
It also beats most of the fighters.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Although because it's normal as well, so it's going to be a little bit weak too. So,
No. Lickitung XL at number 24.
please no.
Both forms of Abomasnow. That's going to be another one you'll probably see quite.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Figures BXL at number 35.
Of course, if it's available,
That one
it'll
I
be
think
around.
we will see a little bit more of just because of all these rabbits.
Yes, I think so too. Speaking of which, let me pop open the game and see if anything else has spawned around me. Are you ready to get into the community question?
I am.
Let's hop into the community question. I'm going to hit the split button.
Hop.
Ha ha ha. Easter.
Rabbit joke.
Bugs Bunny. The Space Jam.
What's up, Dak?
Oh, yes. I have had things spawn around me. No shiny Bunnelby, though. There is one here. It will probably give me XL candy. Fingers crossed. Alrighty. Previous community question. What is your craziest pick for May's Community Day? On Twitter, we have Dolphin at DolphDog93. I believe that is our patron as well for April.
Yep.
Dolphin says, I think it's going to be Gothita, lol. I think you might be right. Gothita would be... I don't know how many people are going to be really excited for it, but Gothita is definitely an option. And now I'm curious as Gothita shiny. How cool does this shiny look? It turns brighter pink?
Fleshy. Like mime.
A slight tone difference in its... It turns its purple into a little bit of a pink, eye color change, and the black turns into like a very deep blue. Its evolutions also don't change very much. Wow, this is a very unexciting shiny. This is wow. If you aren't paying attention or are colorblind, I imagine you would not be able to tell. Yeah, we might see Gothita as a community day. It's a prime candidate of not having a shiny out and being a 3-tier. It's Gen 1 boring. You're right, Eric. It really this is worse than Gen 1 boring. This was because Gothita is a Pokemon that comes out in what, Gen 5? Which means they made the shiny and handpicked the colors. They chose this, not automatically generated it, which is really disappointing. You could have gone with literally anything else, and you went with not much of a change. I don't know. Maybe there's a legitimate reason behind it. If a Game Freak artist is listening to this and has the legitimate reason and wants to slap me in the face with facts, I will welcome it. Dang, that Bunnelby gave me 2 XL candy. Sick. Yeah, I think Gothita at some point will probably get a community day, or it might get a double community day with Solosis, because they're not necessarily two sides of the same coin, but they were released at the same time. I want to say they're game exclusives from
That sounds right.
one version. I think, what is it, X and Y, I think?
Yeah.
One is exclusive
Or no,
to
that'd
X.
be black and white.
Oh, is it black and white? Okay. I think
Yeah.
one is exclusive to black and the other one is exclusive to white, I imagine. So it wouldn't be surprising to see them potentially see their shinies released either in community days, potentially back to back, or the same event or something. So Maybe when we get the black and white remake or something.
Yeah.
Let's go Gothita and Solosis, maybe. If I really wanted to put a idea out there. We had, I think, a couple of responses on the Discord here. DeFi responded with, I think Temple would be really fun. Its shiny is cool, which helps. It already has a pretty great moveset, so not sure what to add. Weather Ball maybe, Earthquake, Power Whip would be interesting.
I think it's Power Whip?
Does it get Power Whip? Hold on.
That would destroy the
Hold
other
on.
Mud Boys.
Temple.
Well, you'd want to look for its third form.
Yes.
For the memes.
This will at least get me somewhere. That is a cool shiny. That is also a cool shiny. That is a excellent shiny. This is, I would say, top tier shiny. If you look at Seismitoad's shiny, that is fantastic.
It's an actual frog.
Moveset. Let's see. We're looking for Power Whip. Power Whip is what, a grass type move?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is a technical record. It is available as a technical record. I could get Grass Knot, and Grass Knot's not fantastic. Maybe that would be interesting. Power Whip, is Power Whip in the game currently?
Yeah.
As a
charge move, things like Ivysaur have it.
Interesting. I don't know.
It's
That'd
a
be
faster
so bizarre.
Frenzy Plant. That's right, Lickitung knows it as well.
That would be so bizarre. I mean, it would be a Mud Boy that could
beat Mud Boys.
Mud Boys. I mean,
that could be huge too.
That could be absolutely disgusting.
Another move it could get that it's known for is Boom Burst.
That's true. We've talked about Boom Burst.
Noivern's signature move.
I think Xploud getting a community day and getting Boom Burst, or is there another noise-based move that we're talking about?
Well, you have Hyper Voice.
Hyper Voice, yeah, something like that. I think we
Uproar.
might see a. Yeah, people would.
Uproar would be a nice, let's say, body slam, but it increases attack the more you use in succession.
I imagine people won't be excited for that community day because, like Gothita, the shiny variants of Whismur and its evolutions are not much different.
Is its ears the only thing that's shiny?
Yeah, I think it changes from like yellow to like a green, like a yellow green, and then in its third evolution, it's a slight tone change. It's not much of a difference. The Seismitoad would be wild. Giving it Power Whip would also be really wild. It would make the people that are shiny hunting, because it's a great looking shiny, would be all over it. And giving it Power Whip as a Mud Boy that beats other Mud Boys, where
it's just outshined by things like Swampert right now.
Yeah, Swampert's overall performance is fantastic, but if you give Seismitoad Power Whip, it gets that leg up above that would really make you reconsider running.
Not to mention it beats other plain waters or other ground or rock.
Yes. Yeah, that would be such an interesting spot there. So yeah, I would. Oh man, if only. Is access to bubble. Does it have, what is it, Mud Shot?
Mud Shot Water Gun, I think, currently.
Okay, so then it has the ideal mud type move. Or ground type move.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that would be bananas. I would be all over that. Heck to the yes.
For the memes.
Two thumbs up for me. Yeah. Oh, that's right, because I nicknamed mine hashtag memes. Let's see. So DeFi says Timpole. I am all over that. Let's see. We have Eric BN trolled us so hard so hard in the
Yeah.
Discord.
I had a whole group discussion going on there.
He grabbed the information from which community day? He grabbed it from Roselia's community day and put in Togetic. And absolutely trolled me. I thought it was real. I went to PokemonGoLive.com to see the press release. Saw nothing. It was like, hold on a second. Because it's it he just adjusted it. So it reads, trainers, 2021 was a tough year for everyone, but with vaccines rolling out and summer right around the corner, that makes us feel pretty happy, which is why Togetic, the happiness Pokemon, will be the featured Pokemon during May's Community Day. Date plus time, Saturday, May 8th, 2021, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Features, Togetic will be appearing more frequently in the wild. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny one. Evolve Togetic during the event or up to 2 hours afterwards to get a Togekiss that knows the fast attack Fairy Wind. Take a few snapshots during Community Day for a surprise. And it goes on. He
It's
completely
so well
changed
worded,
it.
it just looks like a copy paste.
No, you just literally swap out the Pokemon's name and some of the initial text, and it reads exactly like a press release of... The one like dead giveaway was that there wasn't a link to either a tweet or a Pokemon Go Live article. He just put in the text. So it would be a really interesting choice. I don't think they would do it because Togetic has never spawned in the wild, period.
It has.
Really?
Togetic, yeah.
When?
Very rarely when Gen 2 started, and then during some events.
Interesting.
Togepi has never.
Oh, that's right. Togepi. Okay, I'm getting it mixed up. So this would be a Togetic community day where Togepi hatches from eggs and isn't available in the wild. So it's a 3-tier Pokemon that
We're getting the second tier.
only getting the second tier. Wouldn't be the weirdest thing we've ever gotten, considering we've gotten back-to-back community days with Pokemon that are only 2-tier. Well, actually, no. Electabuzz and Magmar set a fantastic precedence for this.
Yeah.
So, Eric, you might be onto something here. You might very much be onto something here.
Good point, and Roselia.
Yes, Roselia as well, because Badoo is its baby form and was also... Well, Badoo was also introduced later. So Roselia, weirdly enough, didn't have a baby form when it was initially introduced in the main series games, and that makes Badoo a regional baby, maybe weird, confusing. I'm going to try and stop thinking about it because it's only going to drive a... weird thought process into my brain. There is precedence for it, so this could be terrifyingly accurate. He even added the boilerplate, please be aware of your surroundings and follow guidelines from local health authorities section as well. Oh. JMR says, give me a Shink CD and surprise everyone. Luxray learns Volt Switch. Where in the world is wild spawning Shinx? I will
And I love
nothing.
the after comment here from PM.
Oh, yeah, I can hear people complaining about their devalued shinies from here. If Shinx community... I mean, you paid for it. They gotcha.
You paid for your early access.
You certainly did. Let's see. Any other community day?
Winston the Champ with Zubat.
Yes, that's right. The Zubat family. Move could be could be Cross Poison, Acrobatics, Leech Life, Hurricane, or Brave Bird. All of which I think would adjust Crobat's usage. Honestly, just give Crobat a better
I don't know if it
kit.
needs Hurricane or Brightbird because I feel like those take a minute to get to.
Uh-huh.
I think honestly, Acrobatics is like a faster like aerial ace
Mm-hmm.
would be a good option, or even Cross Poison because I believe Cross Poison is in the game.
That sounds right. Acrobatics is maybe a Snarl clone.
So you're saying is a fast move?
Yeah. Yeah? I think I like it. That might be too wild.
It just needs a faster charge move, in my opinion.
Yeah, it needs something spammier. Golbat outmatches it in every scenario. And then within Ultra and Master League, it's just isn't relevant. So I've talked about my disappointment with Crobat. No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do I use a remote raid pass to do a Timber? I was invited to a Timber.
That's up to you, my dude.
I'm going to pass on that one. Right. I also asked what people's thoughts were on I completely and totally spaced when we were talking about the 30-second switch timer. I asked what people thought of the switch timer change up. Let's see here. Jamar says in our Discord, switch timer was a welcome shakeup. However, I don't think it to be the fairest thing in the world to implement during a time when people are trying to climb in the rankings. If you want to mess with battle mechanics, do it during no rank up impact like Kanto Cup. That is a solid point. I think because it did definitely affect people's play, both, I would say both positive and negative. Was an adjustment that people had to get used to. So the timing wasn't fantastic, but if they want to play around with things, then Niantic has every availability to do it. It's their game. Technically, we're not even out of beta yet, I think. We're still not even at a 1.0 version of the game. Let me go to my settings. We are at version 0.203.1-G-64. I believe that's because it's a Android device that I have the -G. So yeah, maybe someday we'll get to the 1.0, but we're not there yet.
That's how they bring people back, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, this is the official release of Pokemon Go. Didn't it come out 10 years ago? Yeah, it was in beta.
Oh, good old Arc.
Let's see. Eric response, switch timer. I enjoyed the 30-second switch timer because it made spammy moves, which I like, better, and self-debuff moves, which I also like, better. Would I like it as much if it were around for the whole season? Potentially. Fish Geek says, would be happy with a Togetic community day. I liked the shorter switch timer and would be happy for it to be permanent. And then Wisdom of the Champ responds to our community question with the Zubat family as a community day for May. So, this is another episode of the Battle Science Podcast where I have not prepared a community question. I want to get something to get people talking, because we do get a handful of responses, but I want to make something maybe not Pokemon Go related. I know we've asked about what people listen to while they play.
What games people were playing during the pandemic.
Yes, what other games people play. The Japanese name for Seismitoad is Gamma George, I think. Sorry, I'm looking at the
Gamma Gagori.
Yes,
no, that's wrong.
I imagine so. Here, I'm gonna grab that piece of information and go to Google Translate. Let's see. Paste. I want to hear it.
Gamagro.
Gamagro? Hold on.
Gamageroge. Gamageroge.
Gamagog.
Interesting. It literally translates to seismitoad, which I think is just the internet recognizing that is a Pokemon name, because I can't imagine that is the literal translation.
Translation is a seismic toad.
Seismitoad.
Seismitoad.
Size me, bro.
Size me, bro.
All right,
Oh, boy.
so generic community day question. What are you thinking?
Not necessarily generic, just something that's less reliant on Pokemon Go. Oh goodness, because we could always ask of people have already
Favorite cereal.
That's not a bad one. The time has come and gone to ask people's opinion on the Switch timer. I would ask about it, but it's already happened. People have already expressed their feelings on it. I like where you're going with favorite cereal. Not everyone eats cereal. So I would say
Favorite breakfast food?
I would go with what is your ideal breakfast? What's on your breakfast table? Any options? I'm gonna throw out I've had a conversation.
The community day, the Hungry Edition.
Hungry Edition. Snorlax Community Day.
Snorlax community question.
What is the ideal spread for your breakfast meal? I'm gonna go out and probably make some people upset. I work with a kid that was raised in England. I believe his mother is British and his father is Indian, and he was raised in England and then moved out here in the last couple of years. He, of course, the English breakfast that includes baked beans. Me being a hot-blooded red, white, and blue American, thinks that beans do not belong anywhere near the breakfast table. So, I am probably going to upset some people with that opinion. I also don't generally like baked beans, so I'm not putting beans on toast. It just ain't happening. What's your...
I don't think I've ever tried that. That sounds good.
Oh, J-Mars put a GIF, and it is Snorlax just eating. I love it.
What is my favorite breakfast food?
Yeah, what's your response here?
French toast.
Oh my deep cut. Oh, it's so good. Ooh, I've only ever had it once because it's I don't do a whole lot of cooking myself. I am very slow at it, and I make a mess, and I don't really like cleaning up after myself a whole lot.
French toast is the breakfast. I'm not going to do anything for the next few hours.
All right. Okay. Jamar, you and I, we can have a discussion about black beans. I think it's primarily baked beans. I've got nothing against black beans. I don't have anything against black beans. Having had, I guess, Mexican food, Tex-Mex, Americanized. Of those, I have nothing against black beans. We can have a further discussion as far as the inclusion and the usage of black beans within a breakfast, within a given breakfast, so that I can better learn the application of. It's a fruit of this particular fruit and its many forms. So, yeah, French toast is that is a solid answer that I would usually go to. The one that I think I've only ever had once is the sandwich called the Monte Cristo. And it is absolutely disgusting.
Ooh, Jamar, I just Googled that. That looks really good.
Huevos rancheros. Have you not heard of huevos rancheros?
No.
Oh. We're all right. This is an all ages podcast. We're gonna go look at some food porn. Let's go to Google Images.
You're gonna make me hungry.
Oh, it's so good. There's something like I don't do a whole lot of. My go-to egg is scrambled, but you throw.
I'll do either.
I need to experience more forms of egg, so that's my thing. Like fried egg on a burger. I don't do it enough. I guess my cholesterol thanks me, but not that I have I don't imagine I have a healthy cholesterol anyway, but yeah, French toast is a go-to. I don't do a whole lot of sugary cereal these days. I will get a box occasionally. I think currently in my pantry is Honey Nut Cheerios, which is a staple. Raisin Bran is another one. It's not in my pantry right now, but Raisin Bran is a go-to for me.
We're getting some good responses in the Discord.
The other thing that's in my pantry right now is a box of Apple Jacks. So I do have a sugary cereal up there. Most mornings I'm not able to do it with going to work early, but you know, in a day where I've got the availability, I'm gonna go for a bowl of cereal. Bowling bacon says crispy bacon all the way. There are times in which floppy bacon is good. It can be good. It can be usually it's the go-to on like a bacon burger, and depending on the rest of the breakfast, you can sometimes get away with that. If it is thick cut bacon, if it is like ridiculous, if we're talking,
and this is Steven, a hot-blooded American.
if we're talking 3 to 4 millimeters. Oh no, I'm using Imperial. What am I doing? No. If we're talking near a quarter of an inch, let me rephrase it into the American American measurements here. If we're talking near a quarter of an inch, which is way too thick, if we're talking like an eighth of an inch thick bacon, like thick cut bacon, like you can't do that crispy bacon without like having some problems. So I am totally not against crispy bacon. I am all for crispy bacon, but there are times where a little bit of give in the bacon is okay. So wow. Of all of my opinions, it's not that it's like Talonflame might not be all that good. I really not sure how I like Prismatic. No, all of that's fine. It's the fact that I apparently have bad taste in bacon. So oh, goodness gracious. Well, that is a fantastic community question here. The Snorlax community question: what is on your ideal breakfast spread? Oh boy, this will be a fun one. I'd love to see. I think on Twitter
could transition into breakfast with battle science.
Oh yes. I will most certainly be requesting pictures, bonus points for pictures on Twitter or in the Discord if you have extra bonus points, like multipliers, if it is a breakfast you have made. If you supply pictures of an example, you get bonus points. You get double bonus points if it is a meal that you have created. So that is the community question for this episode. In 2 weeks, we will return for another episode of the Battle Science Podcast. You can catch it live on twitch.tv/battlescience. You can catch it early via Patreon, patreon.com/battlescience. $1 or more will get you early access to all of the podcasts, exclusive access to the Battle Science After Dark podcast, as well as other goodies as we move along. If you want to catch it when it releases to the public, you can catch it on YouTube. Just search the channel Battle Science. We are still moving towards the 100 subscriber goals so that we can get youtube.com/battlescience. We are making progress there. We appreciate all of the subs on that platform there. Or you can listen to us in podcast audio format wherever you can find your podcasts. If we are not on a particular platform, do let me know. I will do my gosh darn diddly darn best to put us on those platforms. I believe we're on whatever Google is calling their podcast platform. They used to call it Apple Podcasts. It's not Apple Podcasts anymore. I know we're on Spotify. We were on Spotify. Should still be on Spotify, and a number of other platforms as well. And third-party platforms that I don't even know the names of. So let's see. You can reach out to us if you want to answer the community question. You can hit up the Discord. There is nothing. There should be, other than a potential link not working, there should be nothing stopping you from joining the Discord. That is not behind a paywall. It is not exclusive to Patreon. You are free and welcome to join the Battle Science Discord at any point in time. You can tweet us at battle_science on Twitter with responses to the community question. We'll post that up here probably around Friday or so, when the podcast, Friday or Saturday when the podcast releases, so we can accumulate some delicious responses. Or you can email us your response or additional questions, battlescience.podcast@gmail.com. If you would like to respond to the community question via email or ask us additional questions. What am I missing? Is that everything? I think that's everything.
That's everything.
I think just about every episode I am like, I think that's it. That is it. I am staring at eggs. This is a fantastic way. Huevos Rancheros, this is a fantastic way to end the episode. I totally, absolutely did not expect it to go this way. And that is okay. Jesse, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We will catch everyone in 2 weeks for another episode of the Battle Science Podcast. April's edition of the Battle Science After Dark podcast will probably come a little bit later. For me to be able to get Community Day off, I have to work next Tuesday. So if there is any content that is being made on Tuesday, it will be Jesse being the primary spearhead. He will be the vanguard of Battle Science content for next Tuesday, if there is Battle Science content next Tuesday, which is the 13th. So that is the thing. Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll catch you in the next Battle Science episode. Catch you in the GBL servers. We'll catch you out there on the battlefield.